They have access to Cerebro, and Stryker has Xavier's psychic powers restrained, making him powerless, and wants to use his psychic son, who he also uses his fluids from, to manipulate Xavier. And he drains the fluid from his spine, and he makes him need to be in a wheelchair by restraining him. And he wants to use him to manipulate Xavier while he can't fight back. So he once again uses mutants their own powers against them, and wants to use the strongest mutants against all other mutants, which is really clever, because through scientific manipulation they show that he tries to overcome natural development through science and making technology a powerful weapon. And this makes sense, because it gives control over mutants' powers. And it would indeed be believable he could restrain Xavier's mind as he'd studied their powers, and he could control his son, as he had very advanced technology put in his brain, and that this would handicap him so much is also believable. And it is of course also completely believable that he would then want to use the stronger mutants against the weaker ones, as this would allow him to divide and conquer. And it is logic he would do this, as Xavier's mind control powers make him able to control anyone, and he wants to use an illusion of a little girl to make Xavier use Cerebro to find all mutants and kill all of them, which is really menacing, because it would forever kill our heroes, and because it would wipe out really a lot of innocent people. And it is smart, as another non-restrained psychic person could control Xavier, and it really utilizes the fact that Xavier uses technology to enhance his psychic powers, because this would indeed allow him to find many people, and in the wrong hands it would allow him, controlled by someone else, to find many people and kill all of them. And it is really smart that any weapon like this that can be used for good can be used for evil, because indeed when you can find all people and you can control their energy patterns, you could probably kill them because you have so much power over them. In this way you could then have him use Cerebro, which can control anyone, to thereby kill all the mutants quickly. Nah, I already did a Jew joke. A black guy joke? No, I'm right-wing, too obvious. Muslim? No, that is South Park's department. And as a Roman Catholic, Protestants are too easy, so, I know! This is what I did to kill all Redskins. It is a great plan. Also, Wolverine flees with Iceman and his friends to his parents' house, and he tells his parents the truth. But what is really surprising is that it hurts his brother so much he calls the cops, calling them kidnappers. And due to the recent violent situations, they burst in the windows and shoot Wolverine in the head, making them really dangerous. And this is both believable, that the jealous brother would want his other brother in jail, because he feels so hurt by the fact that he's so much more powerful and so different, that the police would, due to the prejudices against mutants, get really aggressive as they fear what they might do. And Power gets so angry he starts killing them all, and Rogue stops him using her absorbing powers to stop the fire, which is a really menacing part, having an ambiguous hero kill innocent and misguided people in response. And it is really double that you want our heroes to escape, and you slightly want to see the cops pay, but nonetheless they don't deserve it. And it is so believable Pyro would freak out like that, as he had lots of inner anger. What, you expect me to relate this to me? I'm just an asshole. When I do the Dark Knight, and with the Joker and everything, I will get back to that. Okay? Good. Now let me make you some coffee. And we also have our heroes get split up. Storm and Jean Grey go to look for Nightcrawler to find out about the assassination attack, and they first have to fight him and capture him, which is believable as he's scared, so he would hide. And then they hear from him he couldn't control himself, which causes them to protect him, which is believable as it is likely someone would use mutants to threaten people. And what joke can I make now? I mean, it's an ideal subject matter at first, and then it becomes tiring. Hold on. Yeah, I found new inspiration. Just as with the Brits. And Magneto finally escapes, which is a really surprising twist, because he was so well captured behind so much security with no powers in the first film. And Mystique cleverly uses her shapeshift powers to find out where he is, and uncovering Stryker's plan, impersonating Stryker's workers, going behind his computer, which really cleverly uses her shapeshift powers, in that it makes sense that she can sneak into Stryker's buildings looking like one of his workers, to then seduce a guard, making him drink drugged beer and putting liquid metal in his blood, which is to spread to be detected, and it is believable that when it's so spread, it wouldn't be detected. When Magneto has metal, he would have the weapon to escape, so that is smart, and someone as beautiful as Mystique could easily seduce the guards, so that was sensible as well. I in fact can remember that happening. She hits you on the head, she knocks you down, and then she tapes you and ties you up, and then she stops. Okay, where was I? And Magneto didn't know the plan, but senses it immediately, using the metal to break out, which is a really surprising clever twist, showing Mystique could help him break out, as she knew Magneto so well, which makes sense as they were really close. Then Storm and Jean Grey rescue Wolverine and his friends, and they then have to escape air jets, using storms to make them crash. But they fire missiles at them, and Jean's powers grow so much that she can stop one, but she can't stop both. And this is believable, as since they attacked cops, they would chase after them, and they could fire at them before ejecting because of the storm, which of course would force them to eject, as it could easily cause planes to crash, and Jean Grey's powers were still new to her, so they would be erratic. And so they seem to be about to die, but Magneto saves them, because he knows Nightcrawler has the information to get into the base, and he needs their help to take all of Stryker's guards out, to stop Stryker, who he also wants to stop because he as a mutant wants to survive, and he wants the mutant cause to survive. And this is smart, as he would indeed value the whole mutant cause over a few X-Men. So it is really clever. Our villain teams up with our heroes out of necessity, which the X-Men would do also, as they must survive as well to continue their cause. And it is really clever they need to use Nightcrawler, because he after all knows where the base is, because he was in there being used. Hey, Nightcrawler. Could I use you too? Oh, he's a fellow Orthodox Christian. He will understand that. They're into that sort of thing. You don't know the fun we have. The way they get in is brilliant also. Mystique impersonates Wolverine, who Stryker is interested in, and even though they cuff her, she shapeshifts her way out of it, and kills many guards, and goes into the control room, and that allows her heroes to come in and to take down the enemy. And this is believable and smart, because Stryker, because of Wolverine's usefulness, would want to capture him, and Mystique could fight them inside because she can shapeshift her way out of any trap, and she's a very strong warrior. And of course she could then allow them to get in, and once they're in, their powers are so strong that they could take on all the guards if there are no defenses stopping them. Hey Mystique, you should so team up with Talia. And, oh, hold on again. Wait, it happened twice so fast. Is that even possible? And what will happen? It just fell off. Huh? Well, anywho, Stryker then tries to station guards near the door to make a last stand, and our heroes split up, with many of the heroes saving the kids, which nicely resolves that early issue, and it is smart because the X-Men would do that as they valued all of their students and people in general. And Jean goes with the villains to save Xavier, but Stryker has cleverly taken control of Cyclops to attack them, which is a really menacing twist as he's a close friend, and Jean Grey uses her grown powers to deflect him, which is really surprising, and it makes sense Stryker would use Cyclops because of his powers, and that Jean's powers would keep growing stronger is logical as she had great potential. And so she gets split up from Magneto and Mystique, and Magneto kills the guards. And Magneto has Mystique impersonate Stryker to tell the Sun to force Xavier to kill all the humans. Now secretly not rescuing Xavier, but using him for another evil, which is really menacing also, and makes sense as Mystique could tell anything, as Stryker and Magneto obviously wouldn't keep his promise to the X-Men, because he has only become even more hateful and believes the ends justify the means. But our heroes use the Colt to distract the Sun to end his control and rescue Xavier, which makes sense as Storm of course can create snowstorms through her powers, and it is also logical as the Colt would take away someone's psychic concentration. Hey, I know a place where you can get concentration. Okay, sorry, come on, that was just too easy, come on. Hey, look, I'm trying to do something here, don't complain about it, okay? Let's move on. Okay. Wolverine goes to see Stryker and to fight his guard, who turns out to have the same healing powers and adamantium claws, which adds even more tension to the story and makes sense as Stryker could replicate the adamantium in other mutants, as other mutants probably would also have healing powers. And he defeats her and captures Stryker, who tries to escape, but is hurt by the humans being attacked and tied up by Magneto to die from the flood, which is believable, as the attack on humans would keep him there because it almost caused him to die and to pass out, and of course Wolverine would be faster than him. And due to the blast reflection of Jean Grey to Cyclops, the dam is about to collapse, which makes sense as the explosion was heavy and they need to flee. And Jean Grey uses her powers to stop the water, but therefore dies herself, which is really dramatic that such a helpful hero has to die saving the heroes, and it made sense she would do it as she is so selfless. And so the evil military has been defeated and all the mutants saved, so it is really satisfying. Yet there's of course the largest story of the political intolerance, which is growing bigger with the president wanting to hold an anti-mutant speech, and so our heroes shown what Stryker does to mutants and how this is starting a war. How the humans' cruelty is adding to this war, and how they want to work together to learn from the mistakes of the past, making him think about his points and leaving it open for political change, making it seem as though he was starting to regret his aggressive intentions. And it makes sense, he would want to make peace when he saw how horrible Stryker treated the mutants, and we see Jean Grey fire powers take shape in the water, showing she will probably be reborn once more, even a lot more powerful. Thereby once again creating an open ending where we have a complex, satisfying story and openness for a sequel, and it was believable as her powers were unleashing itself. Also, what is really interesting is that the backstory that Stryker has been experimenting on mutants, including Wolverine, because it's really creepy that he uses humans as pets, that he tortures and deforms and brainwashes them, mutilating them on all levels, and it is believable as he sees them as just monsters to be experimented upon because his own son killed his wife. Alright, now I'm gonna need to meditate. And if that doesn't work, pray to Jesus and Peter for inspiration for a new joke for this. Jesus just spoke to me. He told me to suck it. What a jerk! Also, the nostalgia critic again complained, especially about this film, that it was moving very slowly. How? We have the mansion getting invaded, the police attack our heroes, an alliance with Magneto. He says that we get a template of information and the rest is just sort of filler. Again, how? Our heroes fight the corrupt military, which wants to wipe out mutants, and all their actions further explore and escalate this conflict. Isn't the conflict with the military, the people with immense strength, who are the most powerful and the most strong form of intolerance, and also a big part of the tolerance struggle, worth exploring? He says it isn't epic. Well, once again, how? We have the mansion getting invaded, police fights, jet chases, mutants being brainwashed, an alliance between hero and villains, the president being about to be attacked. This film is really epic, and it is really constructive. Our heroes manage to prevent the killing of all humans and mutants, and the mutants kill Stryker, they destroy his base, they reclaim their technology, Magneto escapes, our heroes learn more of mutant manipulation, our heroes learn more of the political field, they escape the police. All I can't think of is that he wanted the political side to be explored with people dealing with the politicians involved. Well, one film can't deal with everything. Star Wars Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back didn't deal with politics. Or that he wanted them to take the conflict to the highest level, dealing with society as a whole. Well, yeah, this film doesn't do that because it isn't the final chapter. Again, Star Wars Episode 5 The Empire Strikes Back didn't do that. It didn't take the conflict as far as it could possibly go with the ultimate victory for the Rebel Alliance or anything along those lines. It is a very constructive film, it just isn't the final chapter. It is a part of a larger story. So it isn't as conclusive, but it's fleshed out and complex, and it is meaningful. The plot this time around also really well built on the first film, showing how the military gets involved, which is the intolerance that the heroes as well as the villains feared in the first film. They had Magneto, who we knew of the mansion, and Cerebro be manipulated after he had been captured by the police, and we therefore see that there indeed was corruption within the political system. so they make him tell them, allowing them to attack our heroes.